Gary Lightbody, how are you today, man?
Good.
Actually, what is the first record that you've ever bought?
That I ever bought? You see, there's some contention with this. I've been asked this question before, but my memory is hazy as to whether it was Michael Jackson's Thriller or Michael Jackson's Bad. Thriller was 85, Bad was, so 85 I would have been 9. So I think it's probably Bad. The first record I actually bought, I probably would have been more like 11 than 9. Because, you know, your folks are, you know, getting you things until you're approaching your teenage years, I would imagine. I probably saved my pocket money up for Michael Jackson.
Yes, with Snow Patrol, I mean, your music has spoken to a lot of people over the years. And I think with this album, I was quite surprised by it. I was quite surprised by how intimate it is. And I was almost like, I was wrong-footed the more I listened to it. And I guess coming back after 7 years for your fans, that must be quite an interesting kind of conversation you're going to have with them. I mean, like, what do you think that how do you think they will react to this one?
The reaction to them has been incredible, you know. And we played 3 shows so far: London, New York, LA, and we played 5 new songs in each of the shows, which, you know, would have maybe not been like the smartest move in the world, but all the new songs went down as well as the old songs. So that kind of shows you the reaction that the new songs are having, you know, to our fans. They've been loving them as far as I can tell. I don't want to speak for every single Snow Patrol fan, but I don't think there's going to be an issue there. I perhaps laid myself bare in a way that I hadn't before in any Snow Patrol record. But you know, I've always been honest on Snow Patrol records, but I've never quite been this honest, been this sort of open. So that I think that's probably harder for me to have released the songs into the world than it is for anybody else, because as they come out, I find like another sort of layer of protective skin sort of gets peeled off with it.
It's in front of thousands of people, and you've kind of, you know, Snow Patrol have a lot of anthemic songs that people would take to heart and kind of project their own kind of situations onto. But I guess we never really think about the rock star or like the front man. Kind of.
Yeah, why would you? Why would you though? Really, it's not an essential ingredient really to think about what anybody's going through on stage. You're going when you go to a gig, you're thinking about what you're feeling, and so you should be. You know what I mean? I would rather nobody thought about what I was going through on stage, and most of the time I'm just having a ball. You know, sometimes playing a song for the first time. Playing Life on Earth for the first time, which is the first song on the new album, which just came out very recently. That song took 5 years to write from start to finish. I started writing that song. I wrote the chorus in 2013, and I finished the song last year. So playing it live for the first time was an extraordinarily emotional moment for me. And at the end of the song, I kind of just allowed myself the time to kind of let it all sink in. And it was a beautiful moment for me, and I'm glad that the people at the gig let me just take a minute. I just have to take a minute here, everybody. Yeah, so you know, in those moments, you kind of show yourself what you're going through on the stage, and the rest of the time, you should be trying to, you know, give people a show, give people a night they'll not soon forget.
Takes, I guess, the period of time between sitting down to write for the first few verses or whatever, and like getting to that moment on stage.
Until I got sober 2 years ago, I wasn't really able to figure out what I wanted to write about. I didn't know that at the time. I was still trying to write. I was writing every day. I was writing for other people. I was writing for movie soundtracks and TV show soundtracks, and you know, did the Tired Pony record. You know, I mean, so there was definitely writing going on. But with Snow Patrol, I always wanted to give all of myself, not more of myself, all of myself, and I couldn't figure out how to do that, and it was driving me around the bend. And then I got sober. And then about 6 months after that, I went, oh, hang on a minute. Suddenly, what's this clarity thing that I've never experienced before? And that, in that new kind of phase in my life, which has continued from then, I've been able to access parts of my heart, memory, soul, whatever, that I wasn't able to access before. There was a lot of times when I was thinking, yeah, I'm singing this now, but no one's ever going to hear this. And I just happened to get braver and braver with each passing day, and I realized that this is just the way this album needs to be.
It is evident in the tracks. I mean, like, you do hear it. Like, there's a lot of very naked expression on this. Songs are obviously incredibly personal and autobiographical, and I think like it's kind of fascinating 7 albums in to have that. I know it's come from a place of struggle. You've been very frank about your kind of mental health issues that you've been kind of realizing, I guess. You mentioned your sobriety. I mean, this all seems to be building towards an incredibly positive new kind of phase of your life.
Yeah, that's what it feels like. I'm kind of grateful in a way. I am completely grateful to my demons. I've become great friends with them. I think that's the only thing you can really do, because they are, you know, they've been a big part of my life. I've had self-hatred since I was a teenager, I think, and I no longer have that. I'm free of it. You know, took a long time to get free of it. Took me to like seriously work on myself. Meditate every day. I changed my lifestyle. You know, I don't drink. My diet is different. I just generally healthier. And it just takes a lot of work, but I now feel it is a new phase of my life. You know, you're right. I feel like anything's possible. I was a great naysayer, and it might not have come across because I really loved playing gigs. Whatever I felt like in my life, I'd always find playing on stage so much fun. And now I feel like I'm going to go on tour and actually have a life on tour where I go out in the daytime rather than just spend the whole time in my hotel room with the curtains closed. You know, that's not my life anymore. My life is so much freer and more full of light. It's also, you're gonna probably drink too much as well, and that's gonna cause some idiotic behaviour.
You know, it's just part of being a rock star.
Well, I don't know about rock star, but it's a lot of fun.
I guess lastly, you kind of, because you mentioned with wellness, like you don't really care about the reviews. Was that something that you used to pay attention to? Like, would it matter?
I used to, like, this is the thing that I feel free of now, which is kind of, it makes me feel like I'm insulated against the next 10 years of my life, you know, because I would take them to heart. I wouldn't actively go out to read them, but I'd read music magazines, and if I'd come across something and it was like a hatchet job, it would hurt, it would sting. Whereas now, I don't, you know, it doesn't matter. None of that matters. It just matters if you like what you've done, your own stuff. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks about it.